Today we're not baking. Basically, we're just gonna get all your holiday shopping done today. What are the best stocking stuffers for hobby bakers? I have so many ideas. Okay, where do we start? I have so many props here. Okay, number one, the offset spatula. It's a really amazing, versatile tool. I love it. I really prefer the small one, although I also have a big boy. This one is 9A, 13A. It's great, pretty inexpensive, great stocking stuffer, number one on the list. Another great one, especially around the holiday time, is seasonal cookie cutters. You can get these kind of cookie cutter collections. Ooh, they'll have a cookie cutter that's like an apple, a leaf, a snowflake, a tree. What's your 4th of July? Firework? Anyway, they'll have all these different cookie cutters. Great gift, pretty inexpensive again, great stocking stuffer. Another great one are round cookie cutters. These I found have been more useful than I kind of thought that they would be. Yes, you can cut out cookies, but I just find that I'm kind of turning to them in a lot of instances where you wouldn't think that you would, and I think they're a great addition to the kitchen. Another stocking stuffer idea, a Silpat. Some recipes call specifically for Silpats, and it's kind of can be a replacement for parchment paper. You can wash them. This one was bigger than my cookie sheet, so I sliced off the edge. What else? Oh, let me show you this. This is a 3/4 cookie sheet, and I love it. I love it. I love it. It is really helpful not only for baking, but also for cooking. I just found this like really useful. It's just like a handy tool for me to kind of help stay organized in the kitchen. This one we've seen kind of before, but a thermometer. It's really helpful, of course, with cooking, testing meats and things like that. I think we use this like in the ciabatta recipe, and this one is really good, pretty inexpensive, and very helpful. In that vein, for the hobby baker on your list, you might also want to get a candy thermometer, which is used to measure the temperature of things like boiling sugar. And it has all of the different candy cooking stages on it. I highly recommend this one, also linked below, as is everything that we're talking about today. A reusable piping bag. You can find piping bags that are plastic and that you kind of tear off and throw away, but how wasteful is that? When I first got a reusable pipe bag, I thought it'd be like a real pain to clean and that I was sort of like doing it for the environment, but for no other reason. But I actually much prefer it. Sometimes the ones that you get that are disposable have really weak sides. So you're like piping out something and like the side will burst out. A microplane. I think you guys have seen me use this many times. This is really good, of course, for baking, but also for cooking. This is great for citrus zest, but also cheese, garlic, tons of uses for the microplane. So recommend that one as well. How many times am I gonna say I recommend it today? This is the whole idea. I recommend everything. I'm recommending things to you. I'm gonna stop saying that. Next, bench scrapers. I have this metal one and I also have this flexible bench scraper. You're gonna definitely use it if you're doing bread or something like that. I just find myself reaching for it. It's just a really good tool. And then the flexible bench scraper, again, I use it a lot in bread making, sometimes with cakes and things like that. You can just kind of like get in there with a flexible bench scraper. A kitchen scale, weighing things is so important in baking. If the hobby baker on your list doesn't have one, add this to the list. Oh, here's a weird one. Multiple spatulas and whisks. This is something that I learned when I took some baking courses. I noticed that they had this huge selection of spatulas, probably because there were like multiple people baking there, but I kept reaching for new ones. And it really just makes sure that I'm really focusing on the baking and not having to go wash things in between. So I really love having multiple spatulas, and similarly for the whisks. Another great stocking stuffer. See how many ideas you're getting? I mean, come on. Cake rounds. We've talked about this before, but cake rounds help you to transport cakes. You can decorate them on cake turnstile, and then you can slide underneath and pick up the whole thing and move it. I have them in different sizes because I have different cake rounds. If you have a 9-inch cake pan, maybe you want like an 8-inch cake round just so you don't see it underneath. Oh my gosh, I feel like I could keep going all day. Here's another idea. These pie beans. They called pie beans? Called pie, I don't know what they're called. Oh, they're like pie weights. Okay, another great idea, pie weights. When you are blind baking a pie, you need to put in parchment and then weigh it down with something, and you can use these weights to do that. You don't necessarily need these. You can also use uncooked rice or dried beans or something like that, but if you're looking for a stocking stuffer, add that to the list. Listen up if you're in my family, here's a gift idea. Multiple sizes of liquid measuring cups. I have 4 cups and 1 cup, but I would love a 6 cup. Mom, are you listening? I would love 6 cups and you know, maybe like 2 or something like that. I had one that was in between these and it smashed, fell to the ground and I broke it. But it's really, really helpful because sometimes a recipe will say you need 1.5 cups of, some liquid ingredient. And, I can't really measure that confidently. In this one, I have to do 1 cup and I pour it in and then do another one. Or I'm gonna use like this huge mother and I don't really need it. So I find it really helpful to have multiples. Or it might be something where maybe I have buttermilk in here, and to the buttermilk I'm gonna add vanilla and egg yolks, and then I'm gonna whisk the whole thing. Well, it's nice to have some more room in this cup, and then I don't have to dirty another dish. My family is really big into stocking stuffers, so this is why I'm so excited about this category. But another really nice one is just some like nice ingredients. An easy way to kind of elevate your baking is to use nicer ingredients. So you can get the Maldon's sea salt. You could get some Dutch processed cocoa powder, things like that. I'd love to get that in my stocking. Hint. Let's now talk about some medium-sized gifts. All of these, of course, will be linked below. The first one that I'd like to bring to your attention is the Cook's Illustrated Baking Book. Ever heard of it? For those of you who don't know, I am in the process of baking my way through this entire cookbook. That's right, 450 recipes. Of course, this is my favorite cookbook. It has so many amazing recipes, and I think it would make a really nice holiday gift. Another gift that I wanted for a long time and finally got was a transporting cake stand. What do we call that? A plastic thing that you can transport cake in soundly. Transporting a cake, I'm sure, if you guys have tried to do this right, you make a cake at home, you want to bring to someone's party, you put it like on a plate maybe a cutting board, and then you're like, do I cover this with tin foil? Do I cover it with plastic? Sometimes you stick toothpicks all in and then put the plastic on top so it's not like sticking to the frosting. We don't have time for things like that. The cake transporter just makes it really easy to bring into people's parties, and then once you get there, especially if you're using a cake round, you can easily slide underneath and then put it onto a nicer plate, and no one needs to know about the plastic cake holder, transporter, whatever it's called. A lovely gift is some nice cake display. I use this all the time. I live in Taste Tester and I call it the boob, for obvious reasons. I put all kinds of desserts in here, not just cake, and also the glass top. Keeps everything really fresh. What else? A pizza stone. Pizza stone and a pizza peel. Great for pizza, great for bagels, great for homemade pretzels. Man, we should make homemade pretzels. Stackable mixing bowls. I use them all the time. This was a real game changer for me when I got this as a gift, which is this Tupperware set. These have been really useful and have helped me really organize my kitchen. All right, let's talk about some of the bigger items that you might get. These are the large ticket holiday items for your special person on your list. The KitchenAid stand mixer is not cheap, but it's really great. You can get around it for sure, but I think that if you're gonna get really serious about baking, there's a certain level where it's like, you need to have a stand mixer. One of the bigger gifts you can actually get with it is the pasta attachment, and you can make homemade pasta, which is like such a fun thing to learn how to do. Another big gift would be a food processor. My favorite cookbook calls for a food processor all the time. A Dutch oven. Dutch ovens are incredibly versatile. I have a smaller one and then a larger one. They're the kind of thing that you feel like you're gonna have forever. My last big idea for your hobby baker on your list would be like a gift certificate to some kind of baking workshop. If you need more ideas, I have more ideas. Leave it in the comments. I'm happy to help you shop, and I hope you have just a really happy, safe, cozy, yummy holiday season.